Hi, and welcome to the channel. If you're responsible for preparing charity accounts or have to read them as a trustee or advisor, this video is going to help. But, spoiler alert, if you're a small charity, i.e. one with income less than £250,000, this doesn't apply to you, unless you choose to do so. Some necessary background first. FRS 102 is the accounting standard which applies to all unlisted UK companies. It's the Bible for accounting treatment and generally takes precedence over the charity SORP. The charity SORP, or the Statement of Recommended Practice, to give it its full title, is 200 pages of additional accounting standards which apply to all large charity, those with income over £250,000. I'm Paul Foden, the accidental expert. I've had to learn the charity SORP to design a new charity accounting software product for my business, Eden Accounting. This is the knowledge that I want to share with you. In this video, I'm going to summarise the main accounting differences that apply to most charities. There are 21 modules in the SORP, but charities actually only need to read a third of these. Those are the ones we're going to focus on. See the links below to find out which ones are the most important. I'm going to put the differences into 7 headings for simplicity. Funds, activities, chart of accounts, support costs, treatment of income, Trustees Report, financial reports. Let's get started with funds. Charities receive all kinds of income, donations, legacies and grants, as well as income from their own trading activities. Whatever the kind of income, it must go into a fund. Similarly, any expenditure that a charity must make must come out of one of those funds. Now there are 2 types of funds, restricted and unrestricted. A restricted fund is one on which a donor has placed certain obligations on the money that they have given. It might be targeted for a specific project, country or type of work. There has to be a separate fund for each of these set of restrictions so that the money in the fund complies with the donor's wishes. When the money is spent, it must be spent on an activity, and most importantly, it must be paid out of one of those funds. You must always know where the money is coming from. There are essentially 3 types of activity. Firstly, the charitable activities which the organisation was created to deliver. These are defined in the Trustees Report. Typically, there's some broad themes and these are delivered in projects. The second type of activity is fundraising, money spent on attracting donors. The third type of activity is support costs. These are the costs that are required to run the charity. Governance, finance, admin, IT, for example. But as well as knowing what the money is being used for, the activity and how it was funded, income and expenditure is broken down into different classifications. Generally in charities, this is done according to the different elements of spending, such as materials, labour and overheads. This is easiest for compliance with the SORP. So we end up with a situation that for every piece of income that comes in, we need to record the type of income in a nominal code, the fund that it goes into. Then when we spend the money, we need to record the type of expenditure in a nominal code, the fund that has paid for it, the activity that it has been spent on. Whoever said that the finance manager's life was an easy one? The solution is to use a multi-dimensional chart of accounts so that each of these elements is recorded and so that each can be separately monitored and reported on, preferably using dashboards. At the end of the year, the costs associated with support activities are allocated across the fundraising and charity activities according to a sensible method of allocation which the charity can define. This might be hours, costs, consumption of resources, etc., according to the nature of the charity. The SORP doesn't mind how they're allocated, provided it's sensible, is applied consistently from year to year, and is disclosed in the notes. Turning our attention to income, it's interesting that the treatment of income for charities does not follow the matching approach used by FRS 102 for normal organisations. Let me explain with a simple example. In year one, a donor gives £30,000 to be spent in 3 years across a project. Under FRS 102, the income will be matched with the expenditure, so it'll be spread evenly across all 3 years. Under the SORP, all the income must be taken in year one, and the project expenditures taken out of reserves in years 2 and 3. Moving on to the financial statements, the Trustees Report is the most successful part of the SORP. The SORP provides a clear definition of what should be included. Reading the report gives a very clear understanding of what the charity does and how well it's performing. The only problem with the Trustees Report is that the trustees can get a bit over-enthusiastic and it become a huge marketing presentation crammed with loads of lovely pictures, graphs and smiling beneficiaries. The financial reports are the boring part that are rarely read properly. Essentially, they're in 4 parts. The statement of financial activities replaces the conventional profit and loss and is analysed by fund and activity. This is supported by a balance sheet and cash flow, which are much more conventional, but are not analysed by fund, which is inconsistent and I personally find rather odd. Finally, there are extensive disclosure notes which provide additional details which are specific to charities and vary according to the type of charity and the nature of the work that they do. So you can see there are many differences between the accounting for charities and regular businesses. Do you need to read the SORP? You probably should, or at least download a copy from the link below so that you can dip into it for references. If you don't want to do that, and it is very dry, try to watch more of my videos where I explain each of these elements in more detail. Also, bit of a plug, do check out our software, Eden.Charities. It supports all the necessary SORP requirements for the different financial reports and has a multi-dimensional structure, so it's easily able to accommodate funds, activities on top of a charity chart of accounts. It could make your life much easier. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.